Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. Funding for Chautauqua Sunrise is provided in part by the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency, with offices in Jamestown, Dunkirk, and Westfield, helping businesses to prosper throughout Chautauqua County. From supporting people with disabilities to enjoy great lives, to providing health care services that are available to anyone, the Resource Center has been improving our county for more than 60 years. Learn more about how the Resource Center makes a positive difference in people's lives. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Good morning and happy Saturday, everybody. We're almost there. I think we're 24 hours away from officially being spring. I listened outside today and I could hear all kinds of birds and peepers. That's always a good sign. And on the way here, I could smell skunks everywhere. So I'm not sure what time it's officially spring tomorrow, but I know tomorrow is the first day of spring. I've been enjoying the nice weather, folks. 60 degrees like 3 or 4 days in a row now. Super good. A little bit of rain out there this morning, so you might need your umbrellas, but we'll take it. It's easier to shovel, isn't it? But it's muddy paw season. Brody's, I got my dog trained now. As soon as he goes to the door, he's got to sit and put one paw up, and then all 4 paws got to go up. So, but we'll get through that too. I want to say good afternoon to all my listeners on WRFA 107.9, Low Power to the People. Jason Sample and Company, they're listening to us. You're listening to us Tuesdays at 1 o'clock, and thanks for checking in with us. Also, I want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, depending where you're watching the show. Glad you could join us, and always enjoy seeing your notes and likes from around the world. It's really cool. It's really nice to be able to showcase Chautauqua County and all the good stuff that we have here, and hope for those of you that are listening from different parts, come visit us. It's a great place to live. We're going to be talking about a topic that you normally wouldn't think would be very exciting, but I'm going to tell you right now, after you watch today's show, you're going to say, wow, okay? We're going to talk about 2 words, economic development. And you might say, why would I be interested in that? I'm telling you right now, after you listen to my guest today, you're going to say, I want to stay in Chautauqua County. I want to move in Chautauqua County. I want my kids to live, my grandkids, because what's going on is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I listened to my speaker a while back, and I just sat there and going, I can't wait to have him on my show again. And so if you can't catch the whole show, remember we're on YouTube. You can watch it over and over and over again forever and ever. Also, you can catch it back on our Facebook page. It'll be posted. So please share the good stuff that you're going to hear about today. All right. We have a few things that we want to talk about here. I want to say a belated happy St. Patrick's Day to all my friends. For those that were up at the Big Inlet, we had a great night. The band that I'm with, the Growlers, we had a nice full house, good time, good weather, lots of activity still going around. I guess today they're supposed to turn the river in Jamestown green. They always do that. A little leprechaun shows up. And, we're kind of getting back to some kind of normal, aren't we? We're getting back to having opportunities of parties and gatherings, and I still got to be kind of careful. I know we still got to think about that a little bit, but it's feeling kind of good. All right, I got some announcements to share with you, and I want to save as much time as I can for my guests. So let's get right to it here. This first one is one of those to mark your calendars. All right. This is Run for Hope, and this is from Prevention Works, our friends over there. And there's a graphic for you, for those of you who can see it. It's a Run for Hope 5K in Widener's Chicken Barbecue event. Now, it's going to be May 7th, and that may seem like a long ways away, but gosh, here we are past the middle of March already, and April is going to fly by really quick. We're going to be located at the Resource Center building up in Dunkirk at 186 Lakeshore Drive. There's going to be 5K participant signing that morning, and they're going to have chicken barbecue at 11 o'clock. It's being hosted by Prevention Works, Inc. and Hope Chautauqua Coalition. $30 to register for 15 on up, and it's $15 for youth 14 on down. If registered by April 22, you'll receive a custom Hope Chautauqua t-shirt. And then if you go onto their website, there's a QR code. Those are really fun, by the way. I every chance I get, I try to hit one of those. So if you're watching the TV right now, you can get, if you have one of those readers on your phone, you can scan that right now. It's a family-friendly event. And there's going to be some tables of fun activities for the youth, some prize giveaways and so forth. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this as it gets closer. But at the Widener's Chicken Barbecue is going to be only $12 per dinner. Where can you get dinner for $12? Includes a half chicken, 2 sides, and a roll of butter. Cash only at the event, or pre-order tickets online. Okay, so we'll talk more about that as we go along. Did you know that this is a sweet weekend? March 19th through the 20th and the 26th and the 27th is New York State Maple Weekend at participating sugar houses across Chautauqua County. Experience the world of pure New York maple syrup at participating providers who will offer maple demonstrations and sugar house tours. Maple products, they're going to have tasting and samples, pancake breakfasts, and have maple products available for purchase. Chautauqua County is a big producer of maple sugar and maple syrup. Who's participating? Big Tree Maple, 2040 Holly Lane in Lakewood, Clear Creek Farms, that's hard to say fast, Clear Creek Farms LLC over on Morris Road in Mayville, Fairbanks Maple, at 1968 Shaw Road in Forestville, Johnson Estate Winery, I wouldn't have thought that, Route 20 over in Westfield, Lily Acre Farms on Parcell Road in Stockton, Scott Farms and Greenhouses at Route 60 in Sinclairville. Events generally run from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day, and for more information, you can look up any of those maple syrup providers and get find out more information when they're going to be open and so forth. And this is just in. Justin, contain yourself for the excitement because I know you're going to want to go to this. A free maple sugar party. Sunday, next Sunday, a week from tomorrow, March 27th, 3 p.m. until the maple sugar is gone. Where? At the Mayville United Methodist Church on Erie Street in Mayville. Special music by, drum roll please, yours truly. I played there just before the whole pandemic closed everything up. They haven't done this for the last couple of years, and for some reason they asked me to come back. So it starts at 3 o'clock. I'll be there for a couple hours. Now, this is cool because I didn't know anything about this. This event is made possible by a bequest from Mr. A. Roy Perkins, who stipulated in his will that the trustees of Mayville UMC invite the children from the area to come and stir hot maple syrup and be treated to entertainment while enjoying the sugary delight. Children should bring an adult. All are invited. Don't forget, it's free. So what's the deal? Justin, can you zoom in on this poster a little bit for me? So let's see here. I don't know where I want to be. I'm over here now. Okay, so we're going to get a little close here because this is worth the explanation. Right here, I want you to focus right here. Now, you might not know what you're looking at here, but what they do is they come around and they pour hot syrup like on wax paper, and when it cools, it makes these tasty little discs, like little candies. And you get all these while you're there, and they'll have little bread and butter to go with it because for whatever reason, that's part of the deal. And ready for this, they have pickle chasers. And I first thought, what are you talking about? Well, evidently the chemistry of the maple sugar and pickle juice or whatever, it's just like they go together. I don't make this up. I wrote an article about this. Well, anyway, so this is what you get. It's free of charge. The kids love it. I'll be singing. And but the maple sugar sap, they heat it up real hot. They pour it, it cools, and you make these really cool little discs. And you take them home, and you can share it with your families. So that's coming up next Sunday as well. So, huh? Oh, you could eat them right there. That's pretty sweet, though. All right. If you're into movies, Cyrano and Death on the Nile to show at the Reg Linné Center for the Arts. This is where I always get in trouble because there's names I can't pronounce, so I'll do my best. Award-winning director Joe Wright envelops moviegoers in a symphony of emotions with music, romance, and beauty in Cyrano. That's going to be this Wednesday, March 23 at 7 p.m. A man ahead of his time, Cyrano de Bergerac, played by Peter Dinklage, dazzles whether the ferocious wordplay at a verbal joust or with a brilliant swordplay in a duel. But convinced that his appearance renders him unworthy of the love of a devoted friend, the luminous Roxanne, played by Haley Bennett, Cyrano has yet to declare his feelings to her, and Roxanne has fallen in love at first sight with Christian, played by Kelvin Harrison Jr. The movie is nominated for an Academy Award in the Best Costume Design category. Cyrano is rated PG-13. It's 123 minutes long. Death on the Nile, Saturday, a week from today at 8 p.m., sees Belgian sleuth Hercule. Sure, easy for you to say. Poirot, Egyptian vacation aboard a glamorous river steamer turned into a terrifying search for a murderer. Set against an epic landscape of sweeping desert vistas and the majestic Geise pyramids, I can say that one, this tale of unbridled passion and incapacitating jealousy features a cosmopolitan group of impeccably dressed travelers who writes these things, and enough wicked twists and turns to leave audiences guessing until the final shocking denouncement. Death on the Nile is rated PG-13. It's 127 minutes long. Sounds like a lot of fun. Movies at the Reg include a special engagement screening of Gary filmmaker Travis Carlson's Mother's Day, showing April 2nd at 7. Roger Torrey Peterson Institute's presentation of Banff mountain film. I can say that because I've been there, Banff. And that's going to be Tuesday, April 5. Tickets at the Reg are $7 for most movies and $6 for family films, with an additional $1 theater restoration fee. Special engagement screenings are priced differently. You want to know more information? Give them a call at 484-7070, 484-7070. And if you haven't been there before, the Reg Linné Center for the Arts is located at 116 East 3rd Street in Jamestown. Okay, here's an announcement from the Safety Village. This is pretty cool. You know, we sponsor them quite often and have Jessica on the show. The Chautauqua Safety Village And the Jamestown Fire Department are excited to announce the receipt of a $2,000 grant through the Lakeshore Savings Bank Community Reinvestment Fund. Now, this is the cool part, to purchase smoke and carbon monoxide alarms for free. A lot of free stuff this week. Distribution to Chautauqua County residents. The Jamestown Fire Department will distribute alarms to City of Jamestown residents. Those outside the city will be distributed by the Chautauqua Safety Village. Okay, this is a quote now. We are so happy that we can continue this great program, and we appreciate the support of Lakeshore Savings Bank Community Investment Fund. We would like to see every home in our community equipped with a working smoke and carbon monoxide alarm. As we know, working smoke and carbon monoxide alarms saves lives, according to Jessica Dayton, who's the executive director of the Safety Village. And then another quote, once again, the Safety Village has come through for the residents of the city as well as the county since the beginning of the partnership back in 2020. 138 smoke alarms and 16 carbon dioxide alarms have been given to 88 city residents, all from Jessica's efforts. We cannot thank her enough for her dedication to the community, states Rob Smith, Jamestown Fire Department Prevention Officer. Okay, so here's the deal. How do you get them? Call the Jamestown Fire Department, 483-7597, 483-7597. And outside of Jamestown, you call the Safety Village, 338-0170, 338-0170. I've got 2 fire alarms at my house, smoke alarms, and we have a carbon monoxide in our house. So I encourage you to do it. They're free, and they save lives. We've got documentation of that. Okay, this came in yesterday. Jamestown Pride Festival is back. Okay, the Jamestown Pride Festival, sponsored by Evergreen Health, will be returning to Jamestown. This is one of those, mark your calendars, on June 11th this year. Last year's festival was historic for the queer community and brought people back out as the first large event for the pandemic lockdown. This year, the festival will grow and have more food, fun, education, entertainment than last year. A community meeting will be held on March 25 this week at 6 p.m. at the Mental Health Association in Chautauqua County at 31 Water Street, Suite 7, to gather people to help pull off this event and discuss the event they continue to house for the LGBTQIA plus community. There will also be a social gathering starting at 5:15 to bring everybody together. All right. And finally, something that is near and dear to my heart at the moment is a production called The Spring Fling. I think we have a poster on that. We had our opening night last night at the Lakeshore Center for the Arts Theater, and that is in Westfield in the back portion of the Presbyterian Church, right across from the Patterson Library. What is it? It's a variety show. It's comedy, it's singing, it's music, it's hilarious. We got a little serious stuff in there too, but poetry. I'm the MC and I'm having a ball. We got tonight at 7 o'clock. Tickets are only $15, and we have a matinee tomorrow at 2 p.m. Folks, if you want to just get out and do something for fun, it's really just that. It's fun. So Spring Fling, Libby Cyrano has been directing it, and she's part of the group as well. And we had a blast last night, great audience, and we laughed from the start to finish. Okay, so we're going to take a little breather. We'll be right back. Stay tuned, okay?
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
You know, it's funny, I've seen that a PSA there about card playing. I think I have taught every one of my kids how to play cribbage, pinochle. We've done, war, all those different little card games. And now my kids teach their kids. And even on Friday nights for many, many years, a lot of our family members would get together and play cards. Good social time and stuff like that. And now I see my kids are getting together with their friends and they're playing cards. So good things, and especially it's fun when dads get involved with all that too. Okay, now we're going to talk about some really good stuff that's going on here in Chautauqua County. And as I always understood growing up, that money makes the world go round type thing, and I've never been one of those money people, but I learned in the different roles I've had over the years, you can't do anything without the money. And so goes a county, so goes a village, and so forth. And so I don't want to say he's Mr. Money, but he is getting to be quite the guy that knows how to get the money. So I want to bring back my good friend Mark Geise. Now, let's see if I get this right, Mark. You're the CEO of the IDA, the Industrial Development Agency, and you are the Deputy County Executive for Economic Development. Did I get that right?
Yeah, you sure did.
Wow, two big hats.
Yeah.
But you're doing great stuff, man. So did I get close to where I'm talking about that money drives things, and you got to know where things are at, plus all the other stuff that goes with all that?
Yeah, I mean, you got to have investment in your community. You got to have companies that are creating jobs, and that all gets money into the economy, which makes the world go around. So
yeah, it's a continuum, right?
Yeah.
And you can't have one without the other. You can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have people that are willing to work with you, that sort of thing.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, and right now there is a fair amount of money out there, of course, because of the stimulus packages and the CARES Act and other monies out there that we're really chasing after. I'm sure we'll get into that later, but yeah, so we're all over that, and we've got an incredible team between the Department of Planning for the county, Rebecca Worster and Nate Aldrich and Dave McCoy, and then of course at the IDA we've got a very strong team with our group there, Rich Dixon and the project development managers, and so we feel like we're at the top of our game right now.
You guys are like behind the scenes guys. That's how I see you a lot of times. I remember years ago hearing about the IDA, and I didn't know anything about it. Well, through the course of different organizations I've been involved with, all of a sudden I started to realize the importance of what you do. So how about the elevator speech? What is the Industrial Development Agency for Chautauqua County?
Well, first of all, I think the reason you don't hear a lot about what we do, and there's a lot of things that ultimately don't come out because not every deal comes through, but we're sworn to secrecy. Somebody approaches us and is contemplating a project, and that's very confidential, and it's confidential until the project happens, if it happens.
Well, what do you mean by a project? Like, you don't have to name a specific one, but we're talking.
But somebody might come to us and say, "Hey, I wanna set up a plant to build widgets."
Okay.
And we're looking around. We're looking for a site that's I'm making this up, right? 100 acres, water, sewer, electric. It's got this capacity. What's available? What kind of incentives can you provide through the county? What types of incentives can the state provide? We have a lot of negotiations internally about this, and we might be one of a dozen different places across the country that they're looking at. And, it might happen, we might make it down to, Phoenix is a good example. We might make it down to the top 3, and then we might be selected. And if we are, then there's a lot that we do internally, and it really doesn't become public until the IDA takes action, and which is, of course, a public meeting. But there's so much that happens behind the scenes before we ever get there. And if it doesn't end up coming to us, no one would ever even know that we did that because they went someplace else.
And I think businesses kind of like that because they don't, I would think for a variety of reasons, they don't want property values to go up real fast, or, they want to come in and, because
that's exactly right.
They're there to make money and they want to get good deals.
Well, yeah, and that's why. I mean, it's confidential. All the conversations that we have are confidential,
right.
and that's part of the reason why. But certainly, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and until it becomes a done deal, it becomes public.
I don't know if anybody's ever asked you this question, but do you screen projects? In other words, you're not for us. I there's not think you'd be a good fit.
Yeah, for sure. There's there are some fly-by-nights that sort of come our way, and you kind of sniff them out, and it's like, I don't think this is for real. You know, we do a lot of work with the Small Business Development Center at JCC,
Right.
Courtney Curatolo and her team. And, you know, somebody comes to us and's got this big idea, and we sort of like, okay, well, have you done your homework? You know, show me.
Yeah.
Show me what you've done, you know.
Where's your business plan?
Yeah, where's your business plan? And we send them right over to them, and they weed them out, you know. So, you know, in some cases, people don't go any further than that. They're like, I'm not doing all that work. Or if they're really serious about it, they will put the work in and figure out, you know, do the financial projections and the, you know, the market analysis, those types of things that are key components of a business plan.
So people that are watching right now, you would suggest maybe that they would go to the Small Business Development Center, SBC?
SBDC. Well, I mean, if it's a startup, and we don't do a lot of startups, it's not really sort of our niche. Our niche is sort of working with either companies that are already here
Okay.
and are looking to expand,
There you go.
buy new equipment, or, you know, add more space, or companies that are looking to relocate here or set up a separate entity. You know, we've like Wells, for example, bought Fieldbrook ice cream in Dunkirk, right? And they had a West Coast presence, and they were looking for an East Coast presence. And they bought Fieldbrook. They invested $90 million in it.
mackerel.
And then that spun off to Americold, which is a $41 million cold storage facility in Dunkirk that's almost complete now to store their product.
You know, I don't think people sometimes get it, that one major company can drive all kinds of good stuff for a neighborhood, the tax base for a town or village, and then all the other little ancillary services that go with that business, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's a good example of that with Wells. You know, Wells comes in, they invest $90 million, which creates short-term jobs, right, for all the trades. And then that particular project, a $90 million investment, they came in there and actually boosted everyone's salaries, improved their benefits, so they improved what was currently there, plus hiring another 90 people.
Wow.
And then you have Americold coming in,
Yeah.
and they're going to hire another 50, 60 people on top of that and pay them well. So you can
there's
see the
jobs.
spin-off.
So there's jobs in Chautauqua
Oh my
County.
God! There's so many jobs that you know. There's a shortage of people. Every company that we meet with, I probably meet with, you know, one a week. Let's say company, and the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, "We need people. We need people that, you know, in some cases trained people, but in other cases just people that will show up and have a good attitude."
So this is the way I saw things over the years I've lived here in Chautauqua County, which is pushing 50 years now, is that you went to school, high school, and then you went away for college, and you never came back.
Yeah.
And now, if people were really serious, they would stay here, go to school, go to college here, and work here. Stay put, because there's all kinds of work.
And not necessarily go to college.
Bingo. Because
I
there's
mean, I had student debt that I had to pay off, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there are plenty of jobs out there for people that want to work
and there's
that are serious,
there's
and that are good paying.
And a lot of these companies will give you incentives to go to school or get certificate programs or advanced whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yep. And there's plenty of training programs through JCC and others, and for people to slot right into a really good paying job.
Let me ask you this: would you, if people are listening and watch right now, would you say, all of you that know people that left the county, that are out there wherever, the Sun Belt, the Rust, wherever, there's jobs here, come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Come back to Chautauqua County.
In fact, we just hired a marketing coordinator, Jason Tuzlowski, at the IDA. And that's, you know, I gave you this brochure
we're gonna
about,
talk about
you know,
this.
and, you know, on the back of it is a map that, you know, talks about, you know, the IDA, very little actually, but it's about the quality of life here. And it's about, you know, people have options now that, you know, there are a lot of jobs out there, and they can choose where they want to live because there's jobs there. And so we're really now promoting the quality of life here. It's a great place to live and raise your family and play and conduct business. And so that's what we're really trying to push that message to people outside.
And I'll
of
add
here.
to, and we laugh about this, but we get the snowfall, but it melts.
Yeah.
But we don't get many hurricanes, fire ants, or tornadoes and mudslides and wildfires. I mean, we're kind of a safe area to live. You know?
Yeah, it's safe, and I think the key to the winter is embracing the four seasons. Get out there.
Get out there.
Snowshoe, ski, snowmobile, ice fish. There are a lot of options.
Exactly.
Yep.
Before we go any further, folks, my guest today is Mark Geise, and we're talking economic development and good stuff here in Chautauqua County. If you have a question or a comment, give us a call at 716-753-5225. All right? Don't be bashful. You can have a question for Mark, myself, or you can also slide in a little announcement or something you want to share as well, whatever you like. Do call us, okay? This is your opportunity to talk with Mark. I mean, you're not hidden, but you're not necessarily on the radio and television all the time where people can get to you. So this is your opportunity, folks. So, all right. So when the IDA gets a company that comes in there, what do you do for them?
Okay, so and that was the second part of your question earlier, is what does the IDA do? So we provide incentives to lure companies here, and those incentives can either be in the form of low interest loan funding, because we actually have two loan funds now, and I don't know if you knew this, Doc, but we've had this LTEC loan fund for many years.
That one I knew. That was called a revolving loan.
Yeah, it's a revolving loan fund.
See, I do know that.
But during the pandemic, I talked about stimulus money out there. We were invited by the Economic Development Administration, federal, to apply for a grant to create another loan fund to help those that are negatively impacted by COVID-19. And so we applied and we received $10.5 million. So that $10.5 million is now being loaned out at 2.44% interest.
That's hardly like any money.
I know. I
wish I built my house for that.
Well, it can't be for.
That's like hardly any money at all.
I know.
2%.
And so, and we had a year, and then they extended it, but to get that committed, so we've got about $8.5 million or $9.5 million of that already committed to almost 50 companies. So it's helping them with working capital and equipment and and building and
2%,
2.44% interest. So that was a huge win for us because Erie County got less than $4 million. We got $10 million here.
You're doing something right.
Yeah, it speaks to how well we managed that LTEC loan fund, which came from the EDA originally.
Right.
So we're helping a lot of people with that money. So that's one thing we do.
But let me do a follow-up on this. So that $10 million never goes away.
No, it keeps getting replenished and keeps getting
This is
reloaded.
a
So
huge,
now we have 20.
What a gift to the county.
I know. Now we have 20 million
Holy
basically
mackerel.
that we're lending out instead of 10 million.
That's huge.
It's
That's
huge. Huge.
So what you're saying is if a company says, I'm ready to do something, I could come to you guys, get a loan for 2%. So what are the terms? I mean, how long do you get a
Well, it depends on whether it's working capital
Yeah.
or it's furniture and fixtures or if it's building materials or equipment. But it ranges from 7 to 20 years. you
Wow.
know.
Do they have to have matching funds?
Well,
It probably depends, right?
Well, it depends. With the CARES Act, we relaxed a lot of what the LTEC loan fund originally stipulated, and we didn't even need with the CARES Act money even need bank involvement. We typically involve, the bank needs to be involved. There needs to be equity, and then we take a second position behind the bank.
Gotcha.
But in the CARES Act loan fund, because they were trying to get this money out as quickly as possible, we relaxed a lot of that, rolled a lot of that back.
So you said 50 companies,
Yeah.
and I think about Chautauqua County. That's a lot of companies in this
Yeah.
county. I mean, and people that are working right now, that are watching this show, they might be at one of those companies as we speak, right?
Yep. So that's one thing we do. We lend out money and we take, it's high risk. It's high risk. We take a second position to the banks in many cases. It's low interest, et cetera, to make the deal happen. But it also depends on, jobs. They got to create jobs, right?
Right.
But the other thing that we do is sort of, because we're a public authority created by the state, we're able to provide tax breaks. And to some people that can be controversial. Oh, I think the perception in the community is that we're taking away existing tax money, and we're not.
Then it wasn't there to start with.
Right, it wasn't there to start with. So we're able to provide property tax abatements, okay? And they're called pilots. So
Right.
people say, what's a pilot? It's a payment in lieu of taxes. And what a pilot does basically, and I won't get into all the details, but when a company makes an investment, let's say they put an addition on, and their assessment would go up
Right.
based on that. And let's say it goes up $1 million, for example. They would have to pay taxes on the increase in assessment. But what a pilot does, so we're not taking away anything existing.
This is new.
What a pilot is, this is new. It ratchets up over time, typically 10 years. So after 10 years, they're paying that full taxes on that new assessment, but it gives them time to get their legs under
Make
it.
sure it's running.
Yeah,
and
exactly. Hire people and get everything rocking and rolling so that, after 10 years, then they're fully on the tax roll. But that's it, yeah.
Okay,
One
hold your
of the
breath
pilots.
because we got a phone call.
Okay.
Ready? Mike from Portland, good morning.
Hey, Doc, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. I got to look away from the television set because I know there's that couple second delay in there, so I can't watch you guys and talk.
Okay.
No, I guess I've never met Mark, although I've heard his name many times. You might know, Doc. I worked for Chautauqua County.
That's right.
Not for Mark's department,
Yeah.
but I was a county employee for many years. But I guess when you were saying about, when Mark showed his brochure advertising Chautauqua County, I guess I was one of the lucky ones because I'm just a little younger than you, Doc, so...
You're just a young guy then.
I'm just a young guy, yeah. But, when I was looking for work a few times, it was when economic times were a little tougher in Chautauqua County. But I was able to find jobs, generally decent ones, and then ultimately I wound up going back to college and getting the job I had in accounting at Chautauqua County, where I retired from. But, it's always been a good place to live. When I was in my, mid-30s, things were still kind of tough, but I debated moving out, and fortunately I didn't have to. So, again, I always thought I was kind of lucky that I could stay here and enjoy, the benefits. Like you say, the snow, which I'm no real fan of, does melt. Goes away. And the rest of the season is really pretty nice to live in. The housing's not expensive.
No,
in fact, I've been in the same house for, a lot of years. So, in fact, I, like you, Doc, bought it when the interest rates were high, but the prices were lower. So it's worked out well.
Yeah, well, good. Well, that's exactly what we're trying to explain to everybody is that it's good here.
Yeah,
Yep.
it sure is.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. Well, always good to hear from you. Thanks for calling in.
All right, you're welcome,
Thanks
Doc.
for sharing that.
Thanks, Mike.
All right.
Bye now.
All right.
So the IDA, so the other thing, I talked about that, the property tax abatement, also we can exempt sales tax on equipment and furniture and fixtures, but, manufacturing equipment is already exempt by the state, but other stuff like, furniture and fixtures and.
I did not know that.
So that 8% that the state charge, taxes is exempted, can be exempted through the IDA.
So this is weird, but can you give me an example? So who's buying, who's selling? So who doesn't have to pay?
They don't have to pay the tax. The developer, if you will, is going to buy. I'll make this up. A lawnmower.
Okay.
And they need that lawnmower.
So he goes down to the corner hardware store and wants to buy a lawnmower.
Yeah, and he's got a tax exemption
Gotcha,
certificate that
gotcha.
exempts him from the sales tax.
So that encourages these companies to buy locally,
yeah,
and they don't have to pay the sales tax.
Yeah,
Super.
exactly. And then a mortgage recording tax exemption. So that's 1.25%. But it's still, when you take all these things and you look at them over 10 years between property tax abatement, sales tax exemptions, and mortgage tax exemptions, it really adds up. In some cases, it can be 25 to 30% of the total project cost. And so when we couple that with a low interest loan that's high risk, all of a sudden the deal makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And we're competing against other counties in New York, but we're also competing against other states, i.e. Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And so that's what gives us a competitive advantage. And when we couple that with our service, like I said before, we've got the best team I can imagine, and we're very proactive. We're very responsive. We have great customer service, and we have very knowledgeable long-term employees that know their stuff, and that's why we're successful.
Okay, you hit the word successful. How about sharing what you think are some of the top 10 success stories? Whatever, or it could be 5,
Sure.
or 20, or 100. I don't care.
Sure. Well, you know what? I'll start out with maybe I'll start out with the Welch Building, as
Okay.
you know, because you're a Westfield guy.
Ripley, Westfield.
Ripley,
yeah.
Westfield, but
Yeah.
you spend time in
lot of
Westfield.
time, yeah.
That Welch Building, the headquarters of Welch sat there for many years. And there was a lot of work between the town, the realtor, us, to get that building sort of positioned. We did a request for proposals. We got offers, proposals. Met with the developers and put an offer on the table in terms of incentives, and now that's going to be developed by Savarino and Ramp, Buffalo firms. $15 million investment, commercial on the first floor, residential on the top floors, and so that's going to be put back into, they're going to fix it up and make it look great, and it's right in the center of downtown Westfield.
Oh, absolutely. It's a gorgeous
huge.
building. It's
Yeah.
a gorgeous building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge.
So historical.
Yeah.
So when are they going to
That's
start
one.
work on that, or are they already starting? I don't even know.
Well, we're in the process of closing all the loan documents and the incentives documents, but in the coming months they'll get going on that. That's one. I already talked about Americold, the big freezer on Route 60 for that is providing storage for wells, and that's a $40 million investment. In 180,000 square feet. That's huge. We've got Hideaway Bay. I don't know, did you ever?
Silver Creek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever eat there when it was Hideaway Way?
Yes, I did. Yeah, right on the water. It
Yeah.
was beautiful sunsets.
And that's a great story because that was pulled out of the foreclosure auction 5-6 years ago. I remember Senator Borrello, when he was a legislator back then, he had pushed for it to go over to the land bank. And the land bank is, got it, and then there was a fire there, and we talked to so many developers, but it finally has a group that is going to develop that into glamping. Glamorous camping. There are going to be cabins for people to get out, and they're nice cabins right on the water. There's going to be a public aspect to it as well, like a boardwalk
nice.
and other things, and that's a $2 million investment. And as opposed to if it had gone to the foreclosure and somebody bought it and tore the thing down and built a house.
Yeah.
Not that building a house is bad, but we wanted it to be something that the public could enjoy.
It's a showcase type place. Yeah. Yeah, very cool.
We've got I talked about the EDA CARES Act loan fund. Another thing that we did is we took a lead role in the county's American Rescue Plan Act allocation, which was $24.6 million.
I remember that, yep.
And we obviously lobbied for economic development, a fair amount of this funding to go towards economic development. And we were able to get funding to purchase and install infrastructure for shovel-ready sites. It's something that gets talked about at every election, and everyone's always talking about shovel-ready. The state just did Invest Buffalo and Niagara did a regional study about how many shovel-ready sites do we have, and how are we looking in that department, and it's not good. And especially in Chautauqua County, we're almost out of space in our Mason Industrial Park and Chadwick Bay Industrial Park, so we're looking right now, we've spent a lot of time looking all around the county at sites that would be suitable for industrial business commerce park, and we've got money now through the ARPA funding. We also did we're working with JCC, Small Business Development
Okay,
Center in
sure.
the chamber. And it's been, we've been marketing this grants for businesses to upgrade their marketing presence up
That's
to
huge.
$10,000.
That's really
Yeah,
huge.
Yeah, and we've got we have a list of over 60 businesses, and we probably only have enough money to help 25 or 30, but we're going to try to tap into more money. But that's to help businesses with their marketing. We also have, we're working with the JCC, the Visitors Bureau, the IDA, the Workforce Investment Board to do a program that's called CAP, and it's going to help graduates to stay here, to get positions within companies and have their wages paid for.
Really?
Yeah, through this fund. And so that they can get to know and love the county and to stay here. And it's a program that the WIB ran for many years, but this is sort of like CAP on steroids.
Okay, all right. So
Yep.
now, again, because people watch this from all over the county,
Yep.
we stream live around the world.
Yeah.
I mean, there could be somebody watching right now from Europe that could say, we want to come to Chautauqua County.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yep.
How do they get a hold of you? How do they have this discussion with you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, certainly if they can call me. I'll give you my 489-6075 is my cell number.
489-6075.
6075. But they can also go on our website, the CCIDA website. It's ccida.com.
Pretty simple.
Yep. And the other thing I wanted to talk about, I don't know how much time I
Yeah,
have.
12, 13 minutes, yeah.
Okay, so the other thing, we're doing some other things through that ARPA money, but rest assured that a fair amount of it is going towards economic development. It's going towards things that we need. The other thing that we've spent a lot of time on, and Nate Aldrich has been involved in this as the manager, but we created a public-private partnership called the Chautauqua County Partnership for Economic Growth.
I'm familiar with that.
Yeah, and it's technically, one might not understand why this makes sense, but it makes a lot of sense. You sort of have the county, and the county is sort of obligated by a lot of rules on how we do things, and you can't tap into certain sources of money. And the same is true of the IDA because of its public authority status. But this public-private partnership is something that we created in 2018, and it's got support from, we just got $1 million grant from the Ralph Wilson Foundation,
Okay.
the Northern Chautauqua Community
All right, I sit on that
Foundation,
board.
and the LED Group. We got the Gebby Foundation is involved, and we've got this pot of money, and really what it's doing is it's leveraging. When you apply to the state for funding through all the, especially through the CFA and other sources, consolidated funding application, and through other sources, you have to have some skin in the game. You have to have a local leverage,
Right.
and that was always hard for communities to have that. Come up with 20% of a total project cost to build a park, let's say. Well, what this partnership is doing is it's providing that match, and it's helping to write these grants and get them queued up and ready for submittal to the state. And I'll give you one example. Right now, we're doing a plan down in Mayville, a waterfront activation plan.
Right. We've
Yep.
been announcing that here all the meetings.
Yeah. So we have a survey. Barton LaJudas is the consultant on that, and we have a website. Over 500 people took that survey. That's unheard of. I've been doing this 30 years. To get 500 people to respond to
You're
a
absolutely
survey
right. That's
is
huge.
crazy. And really what that's going to do is it's going to kind of lay out, these are the things that make sense in that park to spruce it up. Splash pad, ice skating rink, gardens, walkway, that kind of stuff. Improve the beach, and then having those projects conceptualized, and then being able to, through the partnership, submit a grant to the state in order to build those things, and having the leverage money to be able to do that is really, really important. And that's what this is. This partnership is about, projects. And it's about projects that fall within business development, community development, workforce development, housing, and quality of life. Those are sort of the 5 work groups, and it consists of over 100 economic development related stakeholders throughout the county.
So if someone says nothing's happening in Chautauqua County, they don't know what they're talking about.
Oh, there's so much going on, it'd make your head spin.
Okay, got a couple questions. One that just
Okay.
came in.
Sure.
Even it's all written down for me.
There you go.
All right, it's really a 2-part question. Do you actively seek out businesses, or do they have to seek you?
Both. I mean, we're pretty proactive in terms of certain sectors. I would admit that we could probably do a better job being more proactive.
You're kind of busy.
Yeah, but we do get, we are out there, and when I say proactive, I mean we're marketing everywhere. We're out there in social media. We're out there in advertising, and we do it that way. And there are certain sectors where we have really gone after them. But for the most part, I would say, primarily, it's people are either internally are expanding, or they're contacting us about certain buildings that we're out there advertising. So we have certain, buildings and certain land that we're out there and say, we have this available, and somebody sees that and they call us and they say, oh, I'm interested in that building or in that land. So, yeah, both.
Good. And the second question, God, and this is, I don't think this is just Chautauqua County, because I'm seeing this in my travels. What about the mall? Malls, they have another life stage now, stage of their development or downfall or whatever. What's going on?
Well, I've had several meetings with the mall folks, the Chautauqua mall folks, and they malls everywhere are struggling. And certainly the Chautauqua Mall, I think, does a really good job with what they have, but they are also looking at what are some other opportunities, whether it be housing, or some other
Change it up.
use, change it up. When I was in Rochester, I was the economic development coordinator for Monroe County, and the Irondequoit Mall. They did a big project where they created makerspace. So a company could come in there and say, hey, I need 80,000 square feet with 30-foot ceilings. I need it built out this way. A contractor would build it out, and they would lease it to them. So there are different things that can be done there, but those are all things that are on the table. Not to mention the land behind the mall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
There's a
you
lot
know,
of
and
that.
there's
That's
some
right.
there's some stuff we're working with the village and in doing kind of a conceptual plan for that land behind.
Well, with
it.
online shopping now, I think malls have really taken a hit, and
Yeah.
the pandemic didn't help.
Yep.
Switching up, agriculture is huge in Chautauqua County.
Yeah.
So what's going on in that world?
Well, we're just putting the finishing touches on an agricultural development and enhancement strategy. And it's something that's required every 10 years by the state that we update our plan. And right now we're sort of there was a lot of stakeholders involved. Rebecca Worster, our planning coordinator, has taken the lead on this, and we had a consultant and a lot of stakeholders, and try to really pull together what are the sort of the top 10 projects that make the most sense in that sector. And it's things like advertising or branding, Chautauqua's best, to creating more cold storage space, to preserving the lands that we have, things like that. And so, and that should be complete within the next month and a half or two, and people can view that online.
Good. I know I've seen a lot more presence of agriculture at the farmers markets and things like this, and I just know there's more niche things going on, like specialty farms and things. So that's really, really good to see.
Yep.
We've spent the last, 20 some minutes talking about what you did. What are you going to do in the coming year? I know you got this beautiful, beautiful brochure here.
Yeah.
And so what are some of the things?
Well, at the top of the list, again, is the whole shovel-ready sites. If you don't have the right sites with the right infrastructure, with the due diligence and the zoning and everything set, we're gonna miss out on a whole lot of projects. So
Now, I see on your brochure you saying you need areas that are at least 80 acres.
well, that's what we're seeking.
That's,
we're
that's
looking-
sort of like the minimum.
there's economies of scale, right? You're going to put all that time and money into putting infrastructure, and you're not going to do it for a 30-acre site. It just doesn't make sense, So it really needs to be something fairly large. It needs to be in the right location. You're not too far off the thruway.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to have water, sewer, broadband, electric, And so that's probably the top of our list.
So you buy the land? This IDA buys the land?
We would buy the land, yep, and then we sell it to a developer. When a developer comes in, they want to see that they can have a shovel in the ground in 6 months,
Ready to
9
go.
months. And if you're not ready, and you say, well, we don't have sewer there yet, well, you know how long it takes those projects. It takes years.
Years.
Yeah, so
Grants
they're
and-
not interested. It's you're out of the mix right away. There are some key properties in the county. The White Inn
Okay.
is a big one. We want to reactivate these properties that are not currently being utilized or are sitting vacant or are being underused. The White Inn. I live in Fredonia. Maybe I'm biased, but the White Inn is the heart and soul of Fredonia.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a gem.
Yeah, and it's a gem, and we're working really hard. Mark my words, we will have a developer for that facility, and it will be done right. And so we're spending a lot of time on that. Furniture Mart in downtown Jamestown, that's a huge. That's a key property right on the water, right across Washington from the National Comedy Center, kitty corner from where my offices are at the BWB, and that building. We got to get that back into play.
Here's a funny story.
Yep.
Somehow or another, I got talked into doing this for a week, and somebody was paying us like $10 an hour to do this. I was running the elevator. I was an elevator. It was like 30, 40 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, that's a cool building, though.
Yeah, it's a neat building. And then, we own a building in Dunkirk on Talcott Street. It was an old ConAgra facility, 230,000 square feet, right in front of Refresco. We're really working hard to get that, either Refresco purchase it or sell it to somebody else. Great jobs. The old Silver Creek School.
Oh my gosh, that should be like a horror movie.
I know.
And I don't mean to beat them up, but I mean,
Yeah.
how sad. It was a really cool building, and I've just watched it over the years, things growing up and the windows going
Yeah.
out. And so you got some, trying to work some plans with that.
Yep.
That would be terrific.
Yeah, we got something in the works. We'll see if it works out, but we hope to do something with that building. The Welch building I already talked about. There are many other buildings throughout the county, like the Petrie building in Silver Creek,
Keys,
and
yeah.
and there are a lot of others, but these are sort of just kind of the highlight.
Okay. Mark, we're down to about a minute.
Yep.
So I'm going to not say another word, whatever you want to tell folks.
I know why maple syrup is so expensive.
Why?
There's a lot of work involved in boiling down the sap. In fact, as I sit here right now, I have sap boiling down in my little sugar shack
you?
next to my barn.
Oh, wow.
So I have 3 maple trees on my property, and a couple years ago, during COVID, I was like, I need a project. And it's about time these maple trees gave something back to me, right?
Yep.
And so I tapped the trees, and I made maple syrup last year. My wife and kids call it Mark's COVID-19 ADHD syrup. Right?
Hyperactivity,
Yeah, so so when I get home today, I'll continue to boil that sap down and get it down to the
Good for
right
you.
consistency and put it in bottles
All
and,
right.
and give it away to my
It's a
friends.
Sweet weekend. Okay, so again, the phone number, Mark, anybody wants to get a hold of you is 489-6075
Yes.
or ccida.com.
Yep.
Did I get it right?
Yeah.
Mark, thanks for coming on.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we got to do this every year.
I'd love to.
I'm so impressed with what you guys are doing and so thankful that you're really doing the behind the scenes because I love Chautauqua County. I really, really do. And that's what this show's all about as well, the good stuff.
And I love
you're
it
part of
too.
that.
I love it
All
too.
right. Folks, you've been listening to Chautauqua Sunrise. My guest today has been Mark Geise, the guru of economic development here in Chautauqua County. Please, if you're interested in doing anything that we talked about, give Mark a call or go to their website. They're good people. I've dealt with them as well at a variety of levels. And I hope you have a great weekend. Get out there and get some maple syrup. Enjoy the warmer weather. And see you next week. Take care now. Bye-bye. We can talk about